Hey guys, here we are in the middle of craziness. I'm sorry. I know I said that I was going to be on it too, and 5 minutes late. Hashtag crazy life right now. How are y'all doing? Are y'all good? How y'all feeling? It is just, I just can't get over what's happening in our world right now. Do you feel like you're living in a movie? I feel like I'm living in a movie. It's just crazy. So I'm here to answer questions about your money. I'm not a healthcare professional. And the lighting on the new iPhones is just crazy. So I'm trying to figure out how to, there we go. Yeah, I'm not a healthcare professional, so I cannot take coronavirus health questions. Except for hand sanitizer. That's all I know. Wash for 20 seconds. Who knew? I've sung the ABCs how many times as I wash my hands very thoroughly. With Christy Wright and I. So sorry. Yeah, not answering coronavirus questions health-wise, but I can answer coronavirus money questions. So that's what we're going to do. I'll be on here for about 30 minutes hanging out with you guys, answering your questions. So go ahead and ask away. But I was talking to Christy Wright, Ramsey personality. She's like one of my good friends. And we were talking and she had like just some of the best thoughts. And I was like, man, I can't take credit. It was her that said all this. But she was like, man, I just wish we just all kind of had more grace for each other. Because people are just like, some people are very fearful and it comes out as anger. They're frustrated. They're scared. I mean, like all these emotions. And, you know, there's kind of two camps on the extremes. There's like the one extreme that's like, I'm going to still do whatever I want. And this is all crazy and blah, whatever, right? And so they look at people that are like in their houses and like refusing to leave as like, don't be fearful, like, bah, and they like get mad at those people. And the people that are in their houses all the time and like forget to, you know, wipe off the grocery cart handle or something. Someone, and those people are like, what? You're spreading germs. And it's like, oh my gosh. So no, I don't know which camp you're in. Maybe a little bit of a balance, which would be great. But I think just having some grace for everyone, because like there's a lot of like scared people out there, and it comes out in different ways. But yeah, I just thought that as she was talking about it, I was like, man, that's such a good point. It is, because you can be on a very short fuse with people when fear takes over, and that's how a lot of people are functioning right now. So just have grace. If people are not reacting the way you're reacting to this whole situation, just know, like, I don't even know if there's a right or wrong, right? Like, but just have grace for them. So anyways, okay, let me scroll up as I just chatted to answer some of these questions. Is it a good time to buy a house? It's a great time to refinance for sure. Mortgage rates are low. If you were planning on buying a house and you're on baby step 3B, you have your fully funded emergency funds, and you guys are in a position where you think the house is if all situations go correctly and financially you're okay right now and you feel like your job's secure and all of that, then yeah, I think it could be a great time to go ahead and buy. But again, that's if things are set up well. You're out of debt completely, fully funded emergency fund. You have 10 to 20% down payment. And I would say that you're comfortable with it, right? If you can make that move in this crazy environment right now, then yeah, I would say that wouldn't stop me. And refinancing, and you know, if you were getting a mortgage on this new house, yeah, you can get some great rates. Should you put 20% down on a house? Yeah, we always say 10 to 20%. 20%, you avoid PMI, save some money in the long term. I mean, in a perfect world, you put down 100% on your home. Paying cash for everything is obviously the dream, but I know that's not the reality for most people. So yeah, we say 10 to 20% on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage where your take-home pay or your mortgage payment is no more than 25% of your take-home pay. Should I freeze my stocks? No, when it comes to investment stuff, and I'm sure we'll be getting a lot of questions in the next few minutes about this because it's where a lot of people are panicking, which I totally understand. If you're looking at numbers, you're like, that's not great right now. But it's the long-term gain. Like when you're investing, it is for the long term. The closer you are to retirement age, I would definitely talk to your financial planner about your specific situation. But my overall advice for investing, keep it in. It does this, you guys. The roller coaster is real. Oh, wait, it was like, brrr. 2020. Like but then the great thing is it does this too, right? So leave it in, just, it's the roller coaster for sure. Is Nashville on lockdown? Yeah, Nashville is. So Davidson County, I think, has like the official, Williamson County came out on like a state of emergency. So the restaurants and gyms, like all of that, we've been encouraged to stay home. I don't think we're quite on the official lockdown, but I think it's heading that way for sure. And I heard rumors Tennessee will go on a lockdown soon, but I'm not shocked. That's my thing now. Literally, I don't think anything's going to shock me. I really don't. Nothing can shock me right now is what I've decided. It's a good time to start investing. We're at that point in the baby steps. So yes, if you have a good emergency fund and no debt, there is, and then I would still continue to fund that 15% if that's kind of in your rhythm, because it is a great time to buy right now, right? So like the bad thing is stocks are down, but that's a good time to buy. So yeah, if that's part of it now. But again, if you don't have an emergency fund or you're paying off debt, pause all that and just stockpile cash. But if you're past that step, if you are on baby step 4, continuing to invest. Grocery budget adjustment tips. Necessities. I mean, like I know grocery shopping, part of like the thing that busts our budget all the time is I'm like going through the deli and I'm like, oh, look at that container of queso. That looks kind of good. And then I look and it's like $4, but I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm feeling right now. Throw that in, throw this in. I can sometimes like get a little bit like that. So in this time, you just cut back, go to the necessities, figure out what you can do. I mean, making cheap meals, we joke rice and beans, but seriously, Mexican, cheap that you can make. Spaghetti. I mean, like there's obviously the meals that are cheaper than others. So if you're on that tight of a budget, yeah, look to see where you can cut and stick to the list, like grocery shop. Your right earring is falling off. Thanks, guys. Man, these earrings, I've had more earrings fall out of my ears in the last 2 weeks. I was on a shoot like about 2-3 weeks ago, and literally I had an earring fell out like 3 times. I was like, what is wrong with my ears? Should I stop baby step 2 and just save cash? Yes. So if you're currently paying off debt, pay minimum payments on everything. Don't get behind. But instead of paying off debt, just pause it right now and stock cash away for sure. Just because of the uncertain times. And hopefully, I mean, who knows? Say we look up in 30 days, everything's getting back to normal. Then you can throw that savings back on the debt and you'll be back on track. It's not like you're not gaining ground, if you will. You're just putting the money in a different spot for right now. Time for refinancing. Yes, if you're able to and you get a better interest rate, especially mortgages, guys, lots of it. Do you like pineapple on pizza? It's not my go-to. I'm not mad about it. It's just not my go-to. Do you prioritize which bills to pay and a chance that you get laid off? Yes, so you always want to cover what we call your 4 walls. So that's going to be food, shelter, mortgage or rent, utilities, and transportation, making sure that those things are covered first and foremost always. And then there's places to cut even like within utilities. Like maybe if you are laid off or you're going to get laid off and you won't be having a paycheck come in and you don't have an emergency fund, this is a time to cut. Call your cable company, cut the cable. I mean, do some radical things in this time. Again, this is not going to be forever, but there are ways definitely to save within those 4 walls. And so that's the prioritization, are those 4 first and foremost. My husband and I are baby steps 4 and 6. We have been paying more on our mortgage. Should we continue to do this or just pay the regular amount and save money? We still have jobs. Yeah, if you're still, again, where you guys are because of where you are on the baby steps, I would continue to do it. I mean, I would say if you have like an emergency fund of like 3 months, maybe you want to bump it up to 6 just to have that extra cushion if you want, and then go back to paying more on the mortgage. But as much normal as possible that you can stay in with your finances when you're past baby step 3, I think that's great. Unless a job loss does happen and all of that, then you can pause a ton of things. But if you're still making an income, you don't see yourself being laid off, then I would probably bump up my emergency fund a little bit from 3 to 6 months if that's where you're at, and then continue to pay more on the mortgage for sure. Should we be putting more money in our 401k right now? Again, I'm going to be such a broken record on these, but it is what it is. If you have no debt and you have a fully funded emergency fund with cash, again, of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and you have some spare money that you want to kind of add some more to investments, then yeah, I would say for sure, just making sure that emergency fund is there. Because the worst situation you could be in is like you have tons of money in your 401k, but you have no cash and you get laid off and you're like, oh, wow, I can't buy food, but my 401k is funded, and like that makes no sense. So making sure you have cash on hand in case something happens. How do you feel about home purchasing during the outbreak in the next month? Time to buy. Gosh, lots of questions about houses in here. It's whenever you buy a house, I always say it needs to be a time that's right for you guys, not what's going on in the economy. So if you're in a place and like say mortgage rates are crazy high, but you have an emergency fund, you have no debt, and you have a 10% down payment, I don't care how high interest rates are. Like you're not doing it based on the market. You're doing it based on your situation. So for you guys, yes, again, if you have that emergency fund in place and you have a good down payment of at least 10%, this could be a great time to buy if you wanted to, if you guys were shopping anyways. But don't make any rash decisions. Hopefully this was like in your plan and you're not just like going to buy a house just for it. Because usually the real estate market takes a couple of months to kind of catch up what's going on with like the economy in general. Usually you don't see it turn as fast as like the stock market. But yeah, I mean, if there's a great deal and you have everything in place, yes, you can go ahead for it. What's the wisest thing to do for a small business right now? Oh man, lots of stuff. Gosh, it's hard. And I think about small businesses all the time, probably because we work with them a lot in entree leadership, and stuff. But man, it's a really, really tough time, for just our economy in general, but especially for small business owners. So, obviously as much cash that you can have on hand is key. And depending on your industry, right? I'm like, if you own, grocery stores right now, like it's insane. Like people, they're scrambling for jobs and they're just like so busy. But then obviously there's other industries that are having to lay off people. So, I mean, the big thing right now, I would say for sure is to stockpile money, and that there may be some hard decisions you're going to have to make depending on what's going to happen in the next few months. So yeah, my biggest thing, even for a small business, would be just to pile up cash. If you have an emergency fund and lost money in the stock market, but wanted to buy stocks now that they're down. I don't know what that question is, but yeah, I'm going to move on. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Grocery budget and food costs during this time. How do you adjust? Yeah, so with the zero-based budget, you're always going to want to get to zero. So that's everything from, that's your giving, saving, and all your expenses. So things like entertainment could be cut out this month because we're probably not going to concerts right now, right? So like anything that you would be using for that could uptick into your food, all of it. So if you lower a category, you can up another. You just have to make sure that, again, everything goes to zero. But if there's any places you can just cut to save cash, if you're on baby steps 1 through 3, that for sure would be my advice. Is it time to put off big purchases, even if we have the cash? Depends on, again, the big purchase, and where you guys are overall. Broken record, but it's just true. You baby steps 1 through 3 years, like cash. But that you guys that are in the opposite end of the spectrum, that you have no payments and a fully funded emergency fund, and I would say a stable job, even though that's still kind of up in the air. I know things can change. Big purchases that you don't have to make right now, I probably would press pause just for like a month or two, just to see kind of like what happens overall. If it's not something that you absolutely need. But if it's something that you guys were planning for a while and you have the money and you have the emergency fund, you totally could pull the plug or pull the plug. Is that right? Flip the switch, whatever analogy to use, and do it. Like a house purchase, like we were just talking about. I'm like, if you've been saving, like you're ready for it, you have the house, and then all this happened in the last 2 weeks, you could still totally go through with it and you're good. But if it's like a car and it's just something that you just wanted, that could be something like, I'll just pause for like a month and kind of like see where we're at. Should we take all of our cash out of the bank? No. I'm not that freaked out by it. Like, we're not pulling money out of the markets or the bank. So we're keeping ours in, and I would be very confident tell you to do the same. Let's see. Should we be investing in the stock market now or sticking to your normal dollar cost averaging plan? I guess that means the 15%. Yeah. 15% for sure, but depending on your life situation, if you want to throw some more in there because the stock market is down, you totally good. Again, making sure you have cash on hand though. Should I put 20% down or should I buy now with these great rates with 4 to 10%? Should I buy now? Should I put 20% down payment? Okay, I'm assuming you have the 20%. Is that what you're saying? If you have the 20%, yeah, that's awesome. Should I buy now at these great rates with 4 to 10% in the market? Is that what you're? Oh, I'm kind of confused by your question. I'm sorry. I spent my entire refund on baby step 2 just before everything hit the fan. Oh no. Should I continue paying down my debt or should I save extra money until this all blows over? Save extra money until it all blows over. So keep your minimum payments. And yeah, definitely be stocking up cash. If you have liquid investments in cash, consider buying stocks that are low at this time. Again, yeah, if you want to, you can, but making sure you have 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash that's not in the market. If you have that, then some extra cash you have with no debt payments could go to it for sure. Do you think the coronavirus is here to stay? I don't know. I have no idea. I can't even I'm not even do commentary on it because I don't know. How's the baby? Oh, he's so great. Charles, he rolled over for the first time yesterday. And I thought, are you 17? Are you about to start driving? Oh, it kind of broke my heart. I was like, man, my last baby. And he's grown up, but he's so cute. He cackles when he laughs and he has no teeth now, obviously, because he's 5 months. But it's just gums. He looks like an old man. It's so cute. So thankful for your dad. Oh, so great. So good. Sorry, there's a lot of people saying thank you. And that's why I'll give a shout out to you guys that have done it. I'm and this is not to shame for you guys that have not done the plan, because no matter where you are, 100% can jump on. But it also gives credit to how well it works, because I've heard from a lot of you guys that are on baby step 4, 5, and 6, and you're like, yeah, we have 6 months of emergency fund in the bank. We have no debt. And this is the time when we say you never know when life's going to happen. Obviously, no one would have predicted this 3 months, 4 months ago, maybe scientists or something. I don't know. That's the conspiracy theory. But seriously, I'm no one would have predicted this. It's crazy. And so the fact that you plan for life like this is it's huge, because there's not just a complete meltdown of chaos in your mind because of where you are financially. You're able to probably have a little bit of a clearer thought because you've planned for when stuff happens, and stuff is happening. And so I just want to congratulate you guys that have done it. You're amazing. And then those of you that haven't started it, you're amazing too. But you're probably feeling a little bit more stress than those people that don't have debt and have some savings in the bank. So I'm telling you, it works. It's worth the short-term sacrifice. That's what I always say, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. And part of that long-term gain is just having some peace of mind during a lot of chaos, which is wild. Okay, I'm scrolling. How do I start saving for a house? I still need so far to be able to do that. Truly need to start a budget and just don't stick with things. Yes, so saving for a house, definitely more of a long-term goal, but I want you to be in a great place before you buy a home, which is being completely out of debt, everything. But if you have a current mortgage, that's different. But all of your debt, a fully funded emergency fund, and then that 10%. Oh my gosh, I swear, I'm not sick. My throat is so dry. I have no water. Oh my gosh, I just want to chug water right now. I had Greek for lunch, and it always just, dries out my throat, but I promise. Knock on wood. Watch me. I'm knocking on wood. Okay. Should I invest my money and buy stocks or save for a house? If you're saving for a house, you'll be saving for your down payments. And so I would do that first. We call that baby step 3B. And then once you have that, then you can go on to saving or investing 15% of your income into retirement. We write refinance. Oh, a lot of people have refinance. That is awesome. How do you feel about Pilot Pete now? Probably need to stick to money questions during these lives, but y'all are getting me with my baby and Pilot Pete, the Bachelor. That was the craziest ending of any Bachelor finale. Barb. #Barb. That's all I'm going to say. Pilot Pete. I just pray good things for him and Madison both. He is a sweet guy. I'm getting really overwhelmed and scared by seeing all the people hoarding, and now I'm overspending on my groceries to stock up. Oh, I know. It is amazing how fear can, it's contagious. It really is. I mean, this was 2 weeks ago. This is back before everything kind of went crazy last week. And people were talking about, they're stockpiling Clorox wipes and all this. And I was like, really? Toilet paper, there wasn't a shortage at that point, but everyone was kind of talking about it. I was like, oh, we're fine. And then I kept hearing about it. And then 2 days later, I opened up under Winston's sink and I saw some Clorox wipes because when we were potty training Caroline, our 2-year-old, we had one of those toilets that you dump everything out. It's kind of gross. That's what we did. And I always just Clorox wipe the inside after just to clean it. And I saw the Clorox wipes and I kind of was like, okay, whew, at least we have one can of Clorox wipes. I'm like, why am I yes, it is so contagious. So yes, I think there's a reasonable thing to stockpile, right? I'm like, but doing it with hundreds of rolls of toilet paper or whatever, some people really need it. And especially if you're overspending out of fear. And so being wise and diligent and knowing, okay, maybe you'll just buy a little bit more than you normally would. That's how you feel. But not going absolutely crazy and busting your budget, because you actually may need that cash for other things like your light bill or something, and you just put it all in toilet paper. But yeah, I get it, because fear, it definitely can be contagious. How do you calculate your take-home pay if you're a small biz owner? Yeah, that's gonna, honestly, all small business stuff, you guys, I'm gonna throw you to Entree Leadership. That is our bread and butter of small business. So they'll be able to help you with those kind of questions. And especially in this time, if you're a small business owner, check them out, because during the uncertain times of the economy and everything happening right now, they're going to be an incredible, incredible resource for you. Let's see. We just bought a house and I got laid off today. Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you know any financial assistance programs out there? More than ever, I've heard banks, credit unions, even cable companies. I mean, cell phone companies. There's so many companies out there that are delaying payments for people. So if you're at a point and you literally cannot pay it and you can defer it for a month or two until you find some part-time work, I would definitely do it. I would call your mortgage company right now and see how they can help you, because I'm so sorry. That's such a real thing. But yeah, there's a lot of companies out there that are helping people right now. And so I would say do that, making sure there's no crazy interest, fees, and all of that. Really try to get to the nitty gritty of what it is. But I wouldn't try to get behind. If you have your emergency fund, use it. But if you don't, then definitely call and see what they can do for your rates. And then start a part-time job. I mean, there's a lot of people that are hiring. I mean, Amazon's hiring 100,000 workers. Walmart just came out, they're hiring a ton. Grocery stores, delivery services. I mean, there's so much. And so it may be totally an offshoot of what you normally do. But if you need the income, you need the income. And so it may be meaning that it looks like, maybe 2 part-time jobs during the day, or whatever it is, getting creative and getting that income in. But yeah, I'm so sorry. Maybe step 2 Not sure if our income will be steady with all that's going on at some point. Should we attack debt? A month in the future, 2 months. At what point should we attack the debt? Yes, I would pause debt snowball. So making sure that you're paying minimum payments, but start stockpiling cash. And then once you start feeling good, I don't know if it's going to be a month. I don't know if it's 2 months. I don't know if it's 3 months. But when everything kind of starts leveling back out, then definitely at that point, you could say, okay, we're feeling good about our jobs again. Things are looking more stable. And then you can throw all that savings back on your debt snowball. Your dad is my second hero next to Joe, the Disney guy. That's awesome. I love Disney. We just started the baby steps right before Corona. Can you give us some advice and motivation, on to keep the steps? We definitely have gone over our budget. Okay, so your budget may look crazy in the next few months, and that's okay. That's what the budget is for. But when things are going crazy, the budget is what is so important. It's going to keep you in control. So your category amounts may look so different than they did a month ago or in 6 months. But the key here is to give every dollar a name. So now is the time to actually be extremely, extremely diligent with the budget. And again, you can like up the food category if you feel like we're going to be getting takeout a whole lot more than we normally would. Or, our grocery stores don't have a ton of food, so we're having to do this X, Y, and Z. So each category may look really different than in the past. But the thing here is to be so, so diligent with it. So I'd say stick with that and just save up cash. Save up cash right now since you guys just started the program and you probably have some debt, because that's going to be the biggest thing, the biggest lifesaver. All right, you guys. Oh, man. This was not fun circumstances to hang out with, but I pray that anyone that, if the sickness is real, like in your family, with you or someone you know or love, it's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. So there's like the health side that is really hard. And then there's a true economic impact of kind of what we were just talking on here. People are losing their jobs, trying to make decisions with their life, and those effects last long as well. It's obviously not human life, but it affects human life in a really, really real way. So I'm just, I know we can get through this. I do. I said it in another Instagram thing, but it is true. I'm like, I just have belief enough in the American economy. I think we've seen a lot of terrible things happen in our country, and it's taken a few months to come back to it, but we do. We come back, and again, this is why this plan works, you guys. So wherever you are, just know the more intentional you are with your money, especially during these times, the better off you're going to be. Make wise decisions. Don't make decisions out of fear. Be thoughtful. Talk to your spouse. Be in communication with them. If you're single, find someone you can talk to about money stuff. Because I think when things are just in our head and we get anxious and fearful, some of that is lost when you just speak it out loud and just saying it out loud. And, but yeah, I just have hope. I really do. I think that it's going to turn, and we're going to look back, and you may have a sense of a lot of gratitude from all the hard work you've done over the past couple of years of getting yourself in a great spot financially. And then some of you may have kind of a wake-up call of like, oh, wow, we've got to get our stuff together. So, I just hope you guys stay healthy, stay well, and I'll see you guys on here tomorrow.